A White House welcome tonight for the president of Poland. President Trump holding his first face-to-face meeting with the world leader since the pandemic prompted global lockdowns.
Well, I think it's a great honor, and frankly, Poland's a country we have a tremendous relationship with, and I have a very good personal relationship with the president.
The White House hopeful that a return to a regular schedule will help signal the country's readiness to reopen, even as the coronavirus crisis ravages much of the nation. Coming just as new polling has President Trump trailing his Democratic rival, Joe Biden. A New York Times poll showing Biden leading Trump nationally by 14 percentage points, and with an advantage among women and non-white voters, while also making inroads with some traditionally Republican-leaning groups. A separate poll showing Biden up by 8 points in the all-important battleground state of Wisconsin. Former President Barack Obama warning Democrats not to get too confident about Biden's polling lead.
We can't be complacent or smug or sense that somehow it's so obvious that this president hasn't done a good job. Because, look, he won once.
Obama on Tuesday night in his first appearance on the 2020 virtual campaign trail alongside his former VP.
Do you want your kids to grow up to have the same value set that Donald Trump has?
Both President Trump and Joe Biden set to visit key battleground states tomorrow. The president heading to Wisconsin, Biden traveling to Pennsylvania with a focus on health care.
Hey, NBC News fans, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.